Hey guys, Tarke here, and as you can see from the screenshot, we finally did it. We finally hit level 100. 3 days, 22 hours, and 21 minutes slash played. That is with some AFK time slapped in there, but I'm very happy with that. We got this, as you can see, at 9 o'clock on a Friday. The league started at 8 PM on a Friday. So basically, in 1 week, in 1 full week, we played for just under 4 days. And we got ourselves level 100 in Mayhem Hardcore. By the way, if you go over to the ladder, again, remember the goal was to have a Oz, NA, and EU slash ladder group all on the top 10. We wanted top 10 to just be slash ladder peeps. We kind of achieved our goal. 1 to 3 is all slash ladder Oz. 4 to 6 is all slash ladder NA. Again, Zane, who ripped after he level 100. Then have the dead, not so dead, somehow still alive, Nuclear Hacksaw. At 7, Baz is my support, who's a slash ladder boyo, but when he re-rolled, he didn't put slash ladder back into his name. At 8, me slash ladder at 9. And then we've got a few people who ripped along the way. Rip. Kane is still rank 1 assassin somehow, and Steel is re-rolling and overtaking him on his juggery dues. At this point, before we get into the rest of the video, I just want to quickly say a massive thank you to all the slash ladder boys, even though there was some memes and some drama at the start. Thank you. Hopefully we can do this again sometime. This time, Oz Group, give us the headhunters before NA, or maybe we'll give you the headhunters, yeah, because, you know, professional racer. 0 deaths, all of Mayhem Steel died. Tarke better than... Anyway, I'm not saying I said it, but, you know, Gucci said it. But here are a few highlights which happened from throughout the day. Looking particularly yellow for some reason. I am feeling rather sleepery doos. So hopefully I haven't got some weird skin disease during this race. So one thing that people kept asking me was about tooltip DPS with pistol tools. Before we get into the highlights, I want to quickly just show off this little clip. Power charges.
Downtime, Monk, get S.
Thank you, Kane. So the crit chance is 30%, 14.8k tooltip. With these, it goes down to 29%, 13.9k. With fully buffed Inspired Learning, Piscator is probably better, but yeah, that's my system. So yeah, people kept asking me about Piscators. As I showed quite there, Piscators are a DPS downgrade, even with all of the Aura Guardian stuffs. But fully buffed up, they're probably better, and it is a very solid starter budget option. So feel free to use Piscators if you don't want to craft a wand. Now, the main MVP of today, the main thing which got in the way of our push, were Bears and Heralds. And we have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of Bears and Heralds highlights. Do you enjoy it? I've enjoyed this, yeah. Wow.
I'm logging. Did you log?
No, we're both in. I cleared it though. Now, the thing which is always funny about this is we're so used to that scaring us. We're like, ah! I had 16.8k energy shield, 7.5k life, just a couple of Inspired Learning buffs. The Guardian did log though. That was actually the only scary thing about the situation, was the Guardian logging. Phone, by the way. Because the Guardian logged, as he was coming up here, you can see him, he walks right into these Heralds. That means I would lose a bunch of max res. If I didn't have the crazy energy shield from Inspired Learning, this could have been a potential rip. Because he logged and I would have lost the Oracy, I lost all the Auras as he logged. And that's one of the kind of like iffy-ish things about Aura bots logging. It's just like, if you know that your Aura bot is going to log, you should also log as well. Or in this case, I actually chose not to log, just because if he logged first and then I got like a packet loss, I could have ripped. So instead I decided to just run back. That's just something to maybe think about for people who play in groups regularly. I'm like, let's just gun back rather than logging. Most people just tend to log. I don't like logging in situations like that because of packet loss. Rise, by the way. And also packet loss is when you basically get lag as you try and like cut the connection with the server, meaning your character hangs for a few seconds, meaning your character dies. I'll always try and move out of Bears than log from Bears. That's just me, personally. Speaking of Bears, this was a bit interesting.
Very negligible.
Oh, fucking...
Oh,
that was
bears.
So close. I walked into them just after they exploded.
0.5 seconds.
Literally. If we hadn't checked up first, we would have 100% been dead. Yeah. Oh my god. So yeah, the way that Atoll works, if you look at the map, you do like a wrap round, then you come round, and then you go up the middle. Because of the layout, because of how my build off screens, on these corners, I can quite regularly kill packs 2 or 3 ahead of us, and that's exactly what happened here. Is I killed a bearer pack when I was here. We then run up this fork to check to see if a strongbox has spawned, and because I ran up this fork, I lived. If I had have done this just a teeny millisecond faster, if I'd gotten there just a teeny weeny bit faster, I would have hit right into one of the bearer packs off screen. And you can see they exploded just as I got there if you watch this in slow-mo. So even we're talking like the fraction of having like 2% more movement speed kind of thing here. We could have killed ourselves. Just, and there's like no reaction you can do to that. Off-screen bears is a real threat. So that is one of the kind of spoopy spoops which happen. And surprise, surprise, even more bearer close calls. So remember how yesterday I showed you Baz just face tanking bears? Hey, we could fucking steal a Gucci in LOL.
Yikes.
Boost your competition.
Oh my god, you put bears. Bass!
Did he die?
No.
Oh, are you good?
Are we good? You're the one who died.
So you're like, okay, maybe you didn't see it the first time. Watch this. So Baz got a little bit cocky. He had already hit 100 by this point. He'd hit 100 a couple of hours before I did. Yeah, that's kind of low. 20%, 30% he was at when he logged. Even if you have max res, respect the bearers. That's also, you know, a situation of why I don't really like logging out in the middle of bearers. If you hang in that situation, you just straight rippery-do. Ziz, stop trying to get into my content, homie. And then the bearers and the heralds kept showing their ugly, ugly head. Even at 99.9% XP, they just kept trying to get me, chat. They just kept trying to get me. Chris was not too keen on this one.
Is this the last one or next one?
I don't know. We've been 99.99% for a while now. Just wigging it. Like, ah! That spooks me a little bit.
That looks...
That looks a little bit, yeah. Thank you. Not even that scary, but I just like the
Is
reaction.
this the last one or next one?
I don't know. We've been 99.99% for a while now. Just wigging it. Like, ah! That spooks me a little bit.
That looks...
Part of me, in a weird way, part of me kind of wishes I had died then. Because if I had died then, the timing would have been beautiful. You'd have had a sub sound. French team, dude. Yeah, dead at 99.9. The memes. Sometimes I'm like, what would have been better the whole time? This was actually the map that I hit level 100. The whole time I was thinking, what would be better content? Me ripping at 99.99 or me making it to 100. I would never purposely rip like that, but the whole time I was kind of like, well, you know, worst case scenario I rip, in which case that's fucking good content. Best case scenario I hit 100, in which case that's pretty good content. So, speaking of, let's not delete that. Here is the 100 level up in all of its glory. In a breach, PogChamp. 5 FPS, by the way. 360p. Dead game, fuck this. Come on. Focus up. Thank you for the follow, bro. Oh, we did it, boys! Yikes!
PogChamp.
Happy Tarke. Yikes, boys. Cheers, guys. Thank you, Baz. Thank you, Daddy Baz. Repping that Pee-wee hoodie, by the way. Subtle Pee-wee hoodie master race with the Pee-wee the whole time. Haven't got Pee-wee socks, though. No Pee-wee socks, sadly. Finished build. Thank you for all the subs. Level 100, haven't even got a hat yet. Bullshit game. Baby rage. Never hat. Never hat. Oh. Still no hat, by the way. And yeah, if you didn't know, there's a promotion going on at the moment where if you are watching a streamer, you get a hat, and if you stream, you get a hat. Kane got his hat, like, within an hour. Still no hat, baby rage. I mean, come on, bruh. What was really cool about the hat promotion, though, is it meant that for our final push, yesterday I had over 1,000 viewers. I hit 100 with 2,000 viewers, and 2,000 viewers is the most viewers I've ever had on a solo stream. Like, not a, like, Bay class stream before. So, getting my first time level 100 with over 2,000 viewers on a massive sub and follow train was really cool. So thank you again, everyone who subbed, followed, gee, all of the peoples. Thank yous. That was just a nice little like oh, I just stubbed my funny on the that was a real nice milestone for me. So we then decided to share the love, the love to then host French team, dude.
What the fuck? What's going on, dude? Tarke host me with almost 2,000 with almost 2,000 crazy people French team, dude. Dude. Oh là là, ça spam dans le chat, gros. French team, dude.
So that's pretty cool. Like, you can't top that. Well, we went from that directly, literally within seconds, into this. Also, just move my camera a little bit. Don't want to cover YOLO's beautiful face. Check him out. Follow him on the Twitch redos.
Follow Rain, yes, that's crazy.
Oh,
Rip, dude. Double rip! Just for you guys, it's a double French team, dude! Rip! Double kill! Okay, French team, dude.
See, sorry, I just really like that. It's kind of good, content. So. I will talk over some more gameplay footage, but yeah, just again, thank you to everyone. Fun little journey. I did end up transitioning the character into. I'll show you the defensive stats before we did a transition. We ended up transitioning into a low life build at level 100. So my defensive stats, this is at level 99, 7k life, 2k mana, 2.2k energy shield. I decided to reserve some of my mana with a Herald of Ice setup, but you don't have to use it. It was just kind of like overkill. Why not? I had a level 4 in line and I had level 2120 Herald of Ice. But yeah, this is like really solid for a Mom build. You're looking at over 10k effective HP. We're looking at 83% fire res, 90% cold res, 83% lightning res, minus 12% chaos res next to my little Guardian Aura bro, Mr. Bazzy, and 233% movement speed with my phase run, Silver Flask, and my Quicksilver up. Pretty good defensive stats. And then once we hit level 100, I then did the low life transition, as you can see quite clearly here. So, yep, we transitioned into a assassin. Since, you know, all the best guys are assassin. We also transitioned to SSF. Because I managed to go low life, you can see my DPS numbers went up quite substantially, as did my crit chance. And I really wasn't expecting this, but we actually got a message from the Crippers himself. Good job, dude. Nice level 100. You are so good at this game. Big fan. By the way, Crip, I appreciate it, yo. You know, keep up the Hearthstone stuff. Thank you. It means a lot. Means a lot. Big fan. So yeah, so on the low life transition, you can see that we reserve a bunch of our life and mana. And to do this, we use Shavs, Crown of Eyes, Dual Parenda Signet, Thunder Fist, S Shield, Brain Rot, Quantity Belt, Worm Flask, Shavs in a Bottle, Taste of Hate, Diamond, Kiara for, you know, status element immunity and all of that good stuff. And, well, no, I didn't actually transition. That would be stupid. But I kind of want to keep my character exactly as is. But at the same time, I kind of also wanted to mess with people looking at my profile. So the main thing which annoys content creators in the world is people who look at our guides, ask us questions, but then don't ever actually read the guide. So for anyone who would like to replicate my character, I have left the character completely unchanged. All of its links, everything intact, everything 100% intact, and this is a void character. It will always be on my profile. You'll always have to see everything, but you actually need to pay some attention to it. And anyone who just glances at the character and tries to replicate it will have a very, very expensive mistake on their hands. So, yeah. I think it's just a nice little way of keeping the character intact, having a little bit of fun with people, and punishing people who don't know how to pay attention to builds, and also, exclamation hat, by the way. Slight off topic, I'm working out with the others when the next Bay class will be. Probably most likely the first proper weekend of Abyss League for any Bay class people. Don't worry, it's not going anywhere, but probably then. I'll now talk over some map footage and just sort of recant my experiences and thought process on Mayhem and all of that good. So, how did I feel doing the whole, like, actually properly trying to go for 100? In the past, I've been someone who's often said that they've never really been attracted to going to 100 before, and then this sort of changed in Harby League. So Harby was the first time I ever, like, actually made the conscious effort to go for 100, and that was mostly due to Kane, and for that, Kane, I have to give major props. Also, Kane does also stream on YouTube. Please do check him out, twitch.tv/KaneLife. So Kane hit 100 in the start of Harby. We played duo the entire league, and we were both like level 97-ish, and he was like, I want to go for it again. And he wanted to do it on his Trickster, who was a support build. I was playing my Immolate Tornado Shot character, and I was like, dude, I don't really care, but if you want level 100, sure, let's go for it. So he ended up ripping, but then logged onto with other support, and then by that point I got into 98, and I was kind of like hype. I was like, oh, this is cool. I had the idea in mind of like, we could maybe go for it. He ended up ripping like 2 or 3 supports in the space of a day, and I was left soloing tier 16 Minotaurs with Beyond. You'd run them with really good XP. Because he was all my corpse detonation, because I was lazy, when he ripped, I didn't then put Evolve Detonate Dead into my setup, which I should have. I wasn't paying attention, died to Evolve DD. And that was like my first like proper like max level punishing death. Prior to that, I had a few level 96 characters. I had a few like level 94, 95 plus sort of characters. But Harby was like the first proper league where I kind of like tried to go for level 100. So that was a little bit demoralizing, but at the same time, I was kind of like, oh well. The fact that I made it to 98.5 means that I can do it. And also, I made a point of not doing Beachhead, really, on that character. It was all just like ethical mapping. Well, as ethical as you can do with, you know, fully sextant blocking, running breach on all of your maps, and then doing Beyonds and Minnows. So, not that ethical, but you get what I'm saying, right? And then these races spun around. So in Turmoil, which was the first race, my only goal was to just get a demi. I didn't want rank 1 demi. I didn't want to get level 100. I was like, let's just get a nice, easy top 5 demi, get some healthy sleep in there, try not to make myself very ill, and just sort of have some fun, you know, playing with others, because I do enjoy playing with other people. Well, we ended up holding rank 1 occultist for a really long time. We did rip, just to me being really tired, at 92, I think. I can't quite remember. I think it was like 92, 93-ish. Yeah, I think it was 92. But I still managed to somehow score a top 5 demi. So that was kind of like, it got me the taste of the racing. I had taken racing quite seriously in the past. I first started playing the game in open beta back in, like 2013, I believe it was. I started playing in very early 2013, within like a month or so of open beta going live, I believe. And I did race back then. The people I played with, we'd regularly like racing, trying to catch demis. This is pre-Ascendancy, pre-everything. It was just like, who was the highest level ranger at the end of the race kind of thing. And then from then until Harby, I basically did no racing at all. And this was the first time I'd properly like gotten back into it. So for Mayhem, when Rolo approached me and said that he was trying to set up this Aussie, NA, and EU group with Steel and Gucci, I just leaped out. I was like, yeah, I want to go. I just want to like get back into that environment. And also, not so much prove something to myself, but kind of just be like, hey guys, look, you know, not the worst player in the world, not the best, but if you set your mind to it, you can kind of get it done kind of thing. And as a result, we've got level 100. So again, I have to thank the /ladder peeps. I would highly recommend that anyone who does want to play hardcore, softcore, whatever it is, what game mode, SSF, and set the goal of something like that, it does feel good when you set a goal and you stick to it. I've always been a very achievement-driven character, but not so much in-game achievements. I'm not someone who cares about challenges. I never complete challenges, but kind of like self-set goals. I like saying, this is my goal, let's go for it. So having this, like, you will reach this level, or you will kill this boss, like Harvey was also the first league that I killed Guardians and Shaper. It helps, it really helps just have this, like, process to apply to. And anyone who gets stuck in the constant re-rolling, never quite sticking on one build long enough thing, it's something I would really recommend just trying, because, you know, it's just one of those things of you're robbing yourself of content if you never let yourself see the full, you know, end game or whatever it is you want to call it. And with War of the Atlas coming out, being so focused on, you know, these upgraded Guardian battles, all this crazy Atlas jumping around, not being locked in one place, these Elder fights, it's a really good time to start sort of beginning to take the game maybe a little bit more seriously, or whatever it is that you want to call it. Now, why did I pick this build? Am I still happy with this build? Would I recommend this build going forward? Since a lot of people keep asking me all about this build. So the reason why I picked this build is because I knew that I could level it as GC Mines, and GC Mines have absurd single target damage, and I could use it to completely carry my group through leveling, because we were originally playing with a Freeze Pulse Assassin, Totem Assassin. His only job was to freeze monsters, and a support character. Neither of which those builds aren't very good for leveling, so I need something which could carry those builds. I also wanted to be a end game carry in maps, and I want to be able to run every single map mod. So I also enjoy miners, so it was a very obvious choice of, well, play GC Mines, carry the entire leveling process, carry all the early map progression where killing boss is difficult, carry Uberlab, Act King Katava, Act 5 Katava, and then transition into a Kinetic Blast miners. I really like the bow playstyle. This is basically the bow playstyle. I don't like shield charge, I don't like whirling blades. I like running fast, I like projectiles, I like being at range. I'm not a massive fan of Volpact builds. I never have been a massive fan of Volpact builds. When I can just play normal leech or regen, I always choose to go for. So this was the perfect build. It was Reflector Beam, because if you don't know, when you use mines, the mines take the damage, not you. And it would be a regen build, solid leveling, fits my playstyle perfectly. Let's go, PogChamp. This build will still work in 3.1, and in many ways it will be better, since GC is getting the new Threshold jewels, which will make it substantially more powerful early on with minimal investment, not having the Helm enchant. The jewels give you more conversion. I mean, with 2 jewels you get 100% cold conversion. They also give it extra pulses, which is more AoE and more single target when you overlap on one boss. However, the kinetic blast aspect of this build has effectively been nerfed quite heavily. So the reason you play KB Mines over normal self-cast is being immune to reflect, slightly better map clear, and map survivability at the hindrance of more awkward single target, and not quite as easy access to more traditional forms of leech, such as, well, more typical forms of defense, such as leech, at the trade-off of being reflect immune. The reason why I think this build has comparable, if not slightly higher, map clear than a normal KB'er, we mapped with normal just KB Wonders. Now, you can do Val Power Siphon on a KB minor, you can do Queen of the Forest Pathfinder Dragons on a KB minor. Norse has leveled in groups with Pathfinder KB minors. It works. You can go just as fast. You can just still have rando 5-link Val Power Siphons and use them in the setup. I actually think the new Hungry Loop Ring coming out to the unique Unset Ring, which eats support gems, is the perfect setup for a 5-link Val Power Siphon. Also, all wonders which previously used the Sibyl's Ring to combat Reflect. With the Reflect rework, you no longer need that ring. You just put in your 5-link Val Power Siphon build. Because, however, of the Reflect rework, normal KB characters will never kill themselves to Reflect because, yes, while it's still on maps, you just roll over the maps because that's what you used to do anyway. If you didn't know, Reflect on monsters, on rare monsters, is now a Nemesis mod, and instead of doing percentage damage back to you instantly, when a Reflect monster is hit by anything, they do a mortar-style effect of a set damage value, not based on how hard you hit it, at the person who attacked them, be it a totem, trap, mine, a carry, a support, even a curse on hit character. Suddenly curse on hit characters actually have to worry about Reflect. Now, I absolutely hate this change. This build is a perfect example of why. This is a case of where I took a build and I turned it into a build which suited my preferences and my playstyles with an opportunity cost, being sacrificing defensive leech, and a more clunkier playstyle, having to do 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, making Saboteur my best ascendancy option, limiting my ascendancy options, limiting my move speed potential, limiting my defensive potential, but for the safety of being Reflect immune. Now, with the upcoming change, the only advantage this has is I can run Reflect maps, but this build can run any map mod. Because I use 2 Val Power Siphons, no regen maps, I can do them. No regen maps are the most awkward maps. It would then be chance to avoid status ailments, because in hardcore that means you're not shattering mobs. When you're running beyond on all of your maps, that makes Detonate very sketchy. You can do it, it's just scary in a hardcore environment. So really the only map mod you have to roll over, in this case for a solo build, is chance to avoid status ailments. That's it. You can afford to roll over Reflect maps. So now in 3.1, you can do this exact same build, but as self-cast, which gives you more links, because you then don't need to detonate mine links. It makes it a less awkward setup. You're not constantly spamming buttons. And also the main MVP of this entire race, by the way, is the F key. This F key took a serious beating. The way that I'm playing is right-click and literally spamming F. I would never stop spamming F. If you actually go back and watch any of those VODs, you can just hear a constant in the background. And that's because the whole time I was playing, I'm just smashing that F key to constantly detonate mines. The Reflect change really, really annoys me. I think it's a silly change because the thing with Reflect is it buffs. The Reflect change buffs every single build which had Reflect problems, and is a drawback and a nerf to every single build which didn't have Reflect problems. And in its current state, they said they were going to add more things, but they won't be around in 3.1. In the current state, if you one-shot mobs, there are less mortars, because the mortars have a set timer and a delay that they go out at. So if you hit the mob once and it dies, you only get 1 mortar coming out of you. If you hit the mob 50 times over a 10-second window, you get more. Builds with worse damage, slower clear speed, now fear Reflect more than full DPS glass cannon builds, because full DPS glass cannon builds one-shot Reflect. Whether you like the Reflect change or not, I just want to point out that on the last Bay class, where everyone called me an idiot about the Reflect change, that was the one thing I was frightened about. I've never been a huge fan of Reflect as a mechanic, but I liked the fact that it did give some opportunity cost to builds such as this, such as miners, and it made the game feel a little bit more unique. I feel like the current proposed Reflect change actually just nerfs a bunch of builds, and in that sense I think it's very silly. I think it's also a huge nerf to group play, because suddenly cast on hit builds now need to be afraid of Reflect. Suddenly supports will start getting PK'd by their carries. In a game which you saw with off-screen bearers, the clips I showed you earlier, grouping is very powerful just because of how powerful supports are, but it's very difficult on your system. The game regularly crashes. In the final push to 100 today, we crashed about 10 times. In a hardcore setting, crashes equals deaths equals losing your character. In a softcore setting, crashes equals losing XP. Losing XP in tryhard groups equals kind of negating the cost of that. So anything which punishes group play in a game which isn't very well optimized around group play, bit of a weird one. Anyway, sorry to end this video on a bit of a negative note. I didn't really mean to do that, but just sort of a natural rotation of kind of where the build is at. It's very solid for 3.1. Highly recommend it for SSF, low budget, high budget options, as showed through my build diaries. And please do go back through the last 7 days of Mayhem to track the build through its steps. If you guys do want me to make one single fully fleshed out build guide style video for 3.1, when the patch notes come out, I will make that video. But yes, on a much lighter note, on a much happier note, I am incredibly excited for 3.1. I'm clearly a huge fan of Path of Exile. It is my favorite game. Grinding Gear Games, even though I do disagree with them at times, are my favorite developer by far out there. So thank you, Chris. Level 100 Baby Rage. Want to buy level 200 raised level cap next year. Have a good day. Bye-bye.